I'm Jen from That Mama Book Nook, and welcome back to my channel. We are basically in the last third of the year, which is wild, but I thought it would be a good time to check in on how I'm doing with those challenges that I talk about in every TBR video. I put books on my TBR for each challenge. I make sure that there's enough, but how many have I actually read? I am a TBR reader, but I never get to all the books in my TBR and then they roll over. So start off strong at the beginning of the year, and then I'm essentially playing catch up throughout the rest of the year. It works for me, it's fine. Just as a refresher, these are the challenges that I am participating in this year. I am participating in the 52 Book Club Challenge, the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, the Diverse Reading Challenge, the 12 Books in 12 Months Recommended by 12 Friends Challenge, the 25 in 25 Challenge, the Mass Center for the Book Challenge, Books and Bulldogs Reading Challenge, the Buzzword Challenges, both the title and the cover one, and lastly, the Books Are Life Reading Challenge. So today, with each challenge, I will go through, I will briefly introduce the challenge, and then I will show you how many books I put on the TBR for this challenge, and then how many I have actually completed. I will say that I have likely fulfilled way more than I've actually read, but because of the way I'm doing it this year, which I'm not sure I'm going to do this again next time, I'm putting very specific books to fulfill specific prompts for each challenge each month so that I know that they're getting covered. That being said, there are some prompts that are pretty easy to fulfill, and I likely have fulfilled them with other reads because I've read way more books than I'm going to be talking about or showing. I also haven't decided if at the end of the year I will go through and see which ones actually I have fulfilled with other books, just not the ones I picked. Also, I do have a lot of books in progress, including ones that I have put on the TBR for these challenges. So by the end of the year, a lot will be more complete, but some are in pretty rough shape, so they definitely are still not great. So as I mentioned, the first book is the 52 Book Club Challenge. This challenge is kind of how it sounds, 52 books, 52 weeks in a year, so ideally you're supposed to be putting one book on per week. Doesn't have to be exactly like that, but because of that, I am trying to put about 4 books a month to fulfill these prompts so that ideally by the end of the year it would be filled. This challenge is created by Liz. I will link all of the challenges down below. This challenge is available on Instagram, Facebook, and on their website. They might even have a YouTube as well. The rules around this challenge are pretty loose, as with all of them, because there's no prizes really for any of these. It's your books, your reading, your rules. It's just gamifying it a little bit, which I really enjoy. So anyway, here are the books that I have planned so far for this challenge. You can see that if I had actually read all of these, I feel like people would be like, wow, we're in really good shape. That's not the case. So then here is the books that I've actually read. I have read quite a few, but for a 52 prompt challenge, not a lot. As I mentioned, some of these are in progress. I read multiple books at a time, so it takes me a little longer to finish some, but then I do have a lot in the works. Some of these I still do plan to get to before the end of the year. They're coming up quickly in my TBR list, so therefore they will likely be finished before the end of the year, but it will certainly be interesting to see how many I actually get done. Again, this is one that the prompts, a lot of them are a little vaguer, a little easier to fulfill, so this is one that I likely have fulfilled more than what my TBR is showing, so it might be interesting to see at the end of the year how many I really did versus how many I filled from the TBR. I'll just have to see how I'm feeling if I want to go and investigate that one. This challenge, I'm not sure if I'm going to do again next year. As I was planning out this video, I was really starting to reflect on which challenges I want to continue. I don't think I want to do all of these. It was a little bit too much, and some of these bigger challenges I really felt like added pressure to my reading that I don't necessarily want to continue with next year. So we'll see. Sometimes it just depends on FOMO or just how I'm feeling in the moment. But yeah, it was fun anyway, trying it out this year. This was my first year doing it. The next challenge is the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. This is my first year doing these challenges for most of them. I think Buzzword and the Diverse Reading Challenge are the only exceptions. This is another really big one, another one that I likely won't do again next year, but we'll see. Never say never. The website is for Pop Sugar is the easiest way to locate this challenge, which I will link. No one's checking on these challenges, so pretty easy to just individually go for it. So here is what I planned for this year. Again, similar to 52 Book Club, I think there is a very similar amount for this one and looking pretty decent. And then here's what I've actually fulfilled. Again, if it wasn't such a big challenge, I would have read a fair amount, but there is a lot of empty spaces. Starting to wonder a little bit if this was even a good video to share. It almost seems silly with how little I've completed some of these challenges, but as I mentioned, even just planning it out and now even filming as I'm thinking about it, it is feeling like a good reflection as we get close to the end of the year and how I want my reading to look a little bit different next year. The monthly challenges, which I'll get to in a little bit, do feel a little bit different than some of these big challenges where you have to fulfill multiple prompts in a year if you're going to get them done. The next challenge is the Diverse Reading Challenge. This is hosted by Booksaurus Bex over on Instagram. I believe she has a YouTube. Here's what I have plugged in with only 6 left to go. And here's what I've read so far. I enjoy this challenge because it pushes me out of my comfort zone. There's a little chat associated with it if that's something that you enjoy. I do get book recommendations, talk about certain topics, but I also struggle with the challenge for the same reason because it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. A lot of book clubs that I'm in aren't necessarily picking books that are fulfilling these different prompts. So then it makes me have to add more each month to fulfill them, especially as we're getting close to the end of the year. That being said, I do enjoy it, and I do think that if Bex was going to do it again next year, I would still participate in this one. Then there's the 12 books recommended by 12 friends in 12 months challenge. A lot of people do this one on all sorts of media platforms. Instagram is definitely a big one. I'm sure there's some YouTubers who do it as well. That TBR is obviously picked at the beginning of the year, not necessarily which book is being read which month, but all 12 books. I actually had 13 on mine because I had a bonus one that a friend put on because we were planning to buddy read it, so it was kind of a joke, so I added it as a 13th bonus one. So these are all of the books that were recommended. Again, I really like this challenge. I love the idea of reading books that either friends loved, or that maybe they think I will love, or maybe, again, it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. It's something a little different. It's something I haven't heard of, or it's something that I've been really anticipating. I really enjoy this one. I have done terribly. This is how many I've read. That's embarrassing. And it's another reason why I think I want to drop some of the bigger ones, because I want to be able to have the time to focus on these ones that have that like personal connection and not just this bigger challenge that doesn't have that personal feel to it. These people took the time to recommend me books and then I didn't read them. And I promise that I'm going to, even if I don't end up getting to them by the end of the year, they will remain on my TBR and be read soon. And I plan to do this one for sure again next year and prioritize it. Then we have our 25 in 25 challenge. This is hosted by Bree from Four Paws in a Book. Here is what I have planned for this one, and here is what I've actually read. Repeating myself, but again, a few of these are in progress. A few of these are definitely going to be read, but this also feels like a totally doable challenge, and I have just not gotten to those books. I, again, think that I would do this one again. This is maybe one of the fewer year-long prompt challenges that I would do if there was like a 26 and 26, for example, for next year. This is one that I think instead of picking like, 2 prompts per month to try and fill, I think I would just go through and, in January, if I filled 6 of the prompts, great, but then in February only got to 2, fine. I think I would do it a little bit more traditionally that way than restricting myself to 2 or 3 prompts a month, because this isn't another one that should have been, again, easily fulfilled. Then we have my monthly challenges, and these are one prompt per month. I would definitely consider continuing on with these next year, maybe cut out a couple of them that are a little bit smaller. I do kind of cheat with these a little bit because I have a rollover TBR, so I will always put a book that fits the prompt in that month, but I then maybe will not read that book until a following month. Again, I'm not getting any prizes for any of these, not cheating in that sense, just like cheating in the sense of how it's intended. Obviously, they're intended to fulfill the prompt in that month. So I love the buzzword ones. Those ones are ones that I have done now for a couple of years. I would definitely continue on with those. The Books and Bulldogs Math Center for the Book, I might not, just to, again, limit my challenges, but they were pretty fun. But you also see that I did terribly in a second. So for Math Center for the Book, this is what I have planned, and I have completed none. 0. Again, some are in progress. Misery's been in progress forever. The Hope of Elantris is a short story. As soon as I finish Elantris, which is in progress, that will basically be like a one-day thing. One and Only Vivian Stone's in progress. Love's a Witch in progress. The Sleepless is an advanced reader copy that I definitely plan to read. So I do think by the end of the year it will look better, but as of right now, at the end of August, I have not completed any of these. Books and Bulldogs, hosted by Books and Bulldogs, is similar. This is what I've planned, and I've completed 2. Again, a couple of those will get read, probably not all of them, and certainly not in the month they were intended for. Then, as I mentioned, we have the 2 buzzword challenges. This is hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala. She has been doing this for years. I love these, and I will definitely participate again, but my progress is similar to the other ones. This is the cover challenge, and this is what I have fulfilled. And then this is the title challenge, and I've done 1. Now I feel like I definitely have to do a wrap up or a follow up in the beginning of next year, just to prove, maybe to myself, but also to you guys, that I did do more than 1 or 2 books on these challenges, because why even do them if that's all I was going to do? Anyway, the last one is Books Are Life Challenge, hosted by Books by the Pool. This is Books Are Life, if you spelled that out, has 12 letters, so you have to pick a book that starts with that letter for each month in that order. So B for January, O for February, so on. So this is what I had planned, and I have completed 1 of them. I still have I, F, and E to plan for October, November, and December, and hopefully a few more of those letters are filled in during those months as well. Oh, also I didn't mention that you guys are getting a little bit of a sneak peek into some of my September books, since I haven't done my September TBR video yet, but some of the books I have planned for September are on here. So if you're paying attention, you'll get a little sneak peek of a couple of them. I also am often participating in seasonal and monthly bingos and readathons over on Instagram and YouTube. And while I love doing all of these challenges, I really do. I love just even planning them out, even though I clearly was terrible at actually completing them. I have so much fun just even thinking about how I'm going to complete these prompts, but ultimately I just joined way too many this year. So I think now, after reflecting, it's pretty clear that I want to drop the 2 big ones, the 52 Book Club and the Pup Sugar Challenge, at the end of the year. I'll see all of these through the end of the year. Again, there's nothing at stake here, but I do think I'm going to drop some of the little ones next year as well. The ones that I definitely want to keep are the Diverse Reading Challenge, the 12 books in 12 months recommended by 12 friends challenge, the 2 buzzword challenges, or 1 if she goes back to 1, and likely the 26 and 26 if Brie decides to do that. And then that also will leave me more room to participate in some more of the bingos and readathons along the way as they come up. Probably no surprise that even though I joined a lot of those, I wasn't a great participant in those either. I stretched myself too thin. I'm not mad at myself, but now I understand my capacity a little bit more. As I mentioned, I was wondering if this video was even worth it, and though I did have to cop up to an abysmal challenge fulfillment for every single one of these, I do think ultimately the reflection that filming and even preparing for this video brought me was likely worth it. So I appreciate all of you for even watching. Let me know in the comments if any of you participate in any reading challenges, especially any year-long ones. And if you are not feeling super chatty, but you just want to let me know that you were here, you can leave me one of these emojis. I call this like my embarrassment emoji. I'm not sure what its like real name is, but this is what I use all the time when I'm talking about myself. And otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Bye!